Hello and welcome to the first Her Version Impact panel of 2022. We are opening this year with a bang in the female community, speaking about everything motherhood. This will be a great broadcast for you to listen in on if you are an expecting mother, a new mother, if you have 6 little ones running around the house, and everything in between. If you are a dad, we would love your support also. We have women from all walks of life opening up about the smiles, the challenges, the laughter, and the realism of what motherhood is. I am super excited about this impact panel. Let's jump right in. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. This will be an interactive forum, and any comments or questions you post will possibly be selected to go on screen for the ladies to engage with you personally. Come with questions, worries, difficulties, and we will help you navigate through it. If you are watching this live or on the hashtag replay, we would appreciate if you share this to your followers so we can expand our reach. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to introduce our ladies. So we have several women here from all walks of life, and I would like each of you to introduce your name and where you are from, starting with Nicole.
Hello, everyone. I am Nicole Gayatri. I am from Costa Rica.
Hi, guys. I am Maureen Scanlon, and I am from Mesa, Arizona.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Ulster, and I am from sunny South Florida.
Good morning. My name is Erica Hall. I am a mother of 6. I've been doing it for 25 years, and I am in Ohio.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tori Brame, and I am a mother of a 3.5-year-old. He's my only kid, and I am in Charleston, South Carolina.
Is that everybody? Charmin, did you go? Sophia?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sophia. I think I have an echo.
You do have an echo. Where are you from, Sophia?
I'm living here in New York City. I'm a hashtag boy mom.
Yes. Charmin? We can't hear you.
I'm Sherman Johnson, mother of 5, and from Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Yes. All right, ladies. Well, thank you so much for joining me this early on a Saturday. I do hear a little bit of reverb, so if you have headphones, you might want to put them in because it might be you.
With that, I'll pass that floor over to Erica.
Good morning. My name is Erica Hull. I am the founder of Better Over Perfect and co-founder of the Corner Office. And soon to be something else. I'm very excited. I just had an amazing meeting this past week. I've written a book that's kind of went out. It's about a little bit about my story, but more about women in general and what we experience, what abuse really is, what it looks like in our day and time. It's called But That's Not Me. So that was a fun journey. I'm glad that I was able to accomplish that. And the interesting thing is I have found that in motherhood, I have a tendency to not acknowledge all that I am actually accomplishing. Because there is no reward system. Like there's no paycheck, there's no bonuses, there's no vacation time, there's nobody coming and saying, oh my gosh, it was so great working with you. You did a really great job. Thanks for that presentation. Or, wow, that blew me away, right? Like it doesn't really exist. I mean, yes, we get it here and there when our kids are like, Mom, I love you. You're the best. And you know, the things that they say. And maybe you get really great support from your partner, but in motherhood, it's a very personal thing. Like it doesn't really matter. They're like, oh, but I love you, honey. You're such a good woman or whatever. It's really internal. right? Like our motherhood and how good and what we're doing. So my question to you guys is, how do you or do you acknowledge your accomplishments in motherhood? And then how do you build yourself up so that there is that reward system? Because it doesn't stop. Like, it's not like, oh, I get to report to work from 9 to 5 and I can just leave it. Like, it doesn't ever end. Like laundry, it will forever be there. So suck it up, right? Maureen has the adult kids. She said it's like you're still a mom. My oldest would have been 26. I lost my oldest to suicide at the age of 16. So my next one's 21. And so I'm experiencing things that I didn't get to with the first one. I'm like, adult children? What the heck is this? This is a different entity. But also dealing all the way down to 5 years old, or, baby. I've been having babies for a long time. So that's my question to you is, do you or have you found your accomplishments in motherhood? Do you record them down? How do you acknowledge them? And then what do you do for yourself to feel that reward or that payback or your paycheck, whatever those terminology that you use? We all use a different terminology. Anybody? Tori, I saw your hand first, and then Christine.
Like Sabrina, I'm a huge advocate for journaling. And I, ever since I was pregnant, I have made lists. I was bedridden, and then I was on bed rest during pregnancy because I went into labor I started contractions at 20 weeks, and then I went into labor at 30 weeks. And so I was like on very strict bed rest from 30 to 39 weeks. And then he came out at 39 weeks. So that was great. But at being bedridden, you can't do anything. And so I felt very, a lot of, and I don't know if it was necessarily my upbringing or my personality or a combination of both, but a lot of my worth is tied to what I can do, what I can produce. And so I would just make lists. And even if it was, I meditated, I journaled, I drank water, like I would make that list for myself. And, even now, I make lists and I check them off. And so at the end of the day, the house is a wreck, and, the dishes aren't done, even though I did them twice today. And, all that, I have so much laundry, like that's Saturday gone. I will look back at my list and I'll be like, no, I did a lot today. Like, even though everything is a mess, like, look at all the stuff I did.
That's awesome. I do the same thing. Like, I created a system so that I would know even the mundane things. Got the kids up, fed them breakfast, rinsed it. I read, I drank my water, I took my medicine, I washed my face, like every little thing. It got to the point where I just started listing it all, because at the end of the day, I was like, well, I don't feel like I got anything done, because maybe it doesn't look, but you were doing all this other stuff. So yes, the lists are important. Christine, what did you want to?
So I don't physically write a list, but I do kind of keep a list in my head, and I always start with self-care in the morning. So even if it's like just 15 minutes, like on the mornings that I have to get out of the house, I'll do 5 minutes of tapping, 5 minutes of meditation, 5 minutes of stretching, and then if I have more time, I'll do more. So that's always that I do that. Like, I literally, my feet hit the ground and I've already done those 3 things. Well, not the stretching, but so that just kind of helps me. I feel like, okay, I've done that. I've taken care of myself, which means I can be like my best self for the day, whatever that looks like today. It may not be my best self ever, but it's the best I can do today. So that helps keep me grounded. And then I also get feelings of accomplishment when I see my children doing something that I know they've learned from me. So whether it's like we have a no screen rule at the kitchen, when we eat dinner or at the table, period. And so if we have a guest and they have a phone, my children will say, we're screen free at meals. And I'm like, yes. Or if I hear them, if we're in a store and they say thank you or please to the cashier, or, that kind of behavior, I feel like they've seen it from me. So, and I also when they don't say that to me, but they say it to strangers, I think, okay, well, you know what? If that's the best we can do. Like, I'm glad that that's what it looks like because I'm a safe place. You know, not that it's perfect, but like I take pride in that they are going out into the world and they know how to treat people. And then the last thing I do is I just think about when I start to feel like my life is a mess and I'm disorganized and I got to get it together. I think I'm a single mom. I work full time. I run and I am building a business. I commute, 4 days a week, like 2 to 4 hours a day. I have 2 happy, healthy kids. Like I run through the list and then I think about like what I did to get to this place after my marriage fell apart and blah, 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 blah. And so I just sort of catalog that in my head and think, all right, I'm doing pretty well, all things considered.
That's awesome. Sabrina, go ahead.
I agree with everything that everyone's saying, so I'm not going to add to any of that. I'm a list fanatic, just notebooks, and I have a whole planner that I've designed, but just lists everywhere. So I agree with all of that. One thing that I do want to add though is I have implemented years ago a reward system for myself. So those hard to do things, those things that like keep getting put on the next day, like we just keep putting it on the next day to do because we just aren't doing it. I have a reward system for myself. And I literally tell myself, like, if I get these 2 or 3 things that I just keep going from day to day to day done, by the end of the week, there's always just something that I'm, circle, like this has to get done. I reward myself at the end of the week. And it could be as simple as a cupcake. It could be a date night. It fluctuates in money, whatever that is. But I always allow myself some sort of a treat or some sort of a reward, whatever that is, for doing a freaking awesome job at being a human. That's it.
Maureen, go ahead.
I think Nicole's put her hand up like 3 times. Nicole, you go ahead. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Maureen. You're so cute. Thank you. Yeah, I do a couple things. Number one is I reward myself, like if I'm doing the dishes or I'm doing something that I really hate doing, and that's like one of those like mundane mom things that kind of has to get done type of deal, I will set myself up with like, I love Gaia TV and I love certain, so I'll set myself up with an episode. So I'm allowed to like, I don't really do screen time much other than that, unless it's like work stuff. So that's a reward for me because I have to do the stupid dishes. I'll watch an episode while I do the dishes. But another thing is that I like really take self-care very, very, very seriously, but to like the next level. So a reward is like, again, single momming, there's nobody else around to be like, high five, babe, you did a great job today. Thanks for taking care of our kid, So I make sure that I schedule myself like a massage at least every other week, if not every week, or, some time for me to feel like I'm being pampered, like someone is focusing solely on me and taking care of me, because I think that's really important. But on the daily with my child, when we wake up in the morning, we do our gratitudes and we talk about how we want the day to go. And at the end of the day, we do our gratitudes and we talk about the things that we loved. We celebrate, things that we accomplished, as well as looking at what were some ways that we could have done better. Like what happened during the day that maybe we think like, oh, actually we could have done that a little better. And we kind of talk about that too. And for me, I'm silently celebrating when my son is talking about that, because I see him taking responsibility for his actions or me. And I see again, those times when we get to do that, maybe there was a rupture and we have this repair then at that point. So these are the different ways that I'm like celebrating every day of what I have accomplished. And I think Erica, you had said it right, is like, some days I'm just like, well, I brushed my teeth twice today. And I got us fed 3 times. So high five, mommy, you did it. We're still alive and we're thriving. Thank you, Maureen. I'll pass it off to you.
Oh, thank you. I love that. Intention setting, gratitude stacking. That's everything. And I think we all will agree that's how you start your day. One thing, having the adult children, my son being raised by a single mom, and his father treated me really bad, and is still to this day, the way that his father speaks to women is disrespectful. But my son treats his girlfriend like a queen. excuse me, he treats her like a queen. He's so respectful. He has her on a pedestal. They communicate. They're wonderful. What I take from that is that I used to carry this guilt that I chose a really bad father for him, and that that he saw his father treating me terrible and disrespecting, and so all the fears when he was little that he would go out into the world and mimic what his father did. Actually, it was reversed. So what I learned from that, to validate myself, back to Erica's original question, is that just because we make mistakes, sometimes our experiences are to help our children, are to help them see what not to do. And so I've been able to remove a lot of the guilt from my children's childhood now that I get to see the results of them as adults. And it's hard when you've got a 3.5-year-old or a 12-year, you don't know the long term. You don't get to see that yet. But trust me, even when you have those experiences, even those negative experiences, it doesn't mean that you're a bad mom, and you don't have to have guilt that you're instilling something in them. There's a lesson to say, don't do that. Don't be this way, or you have a choice to be a different person than this person. So I just wanted to add that the validation, honestly, as the kids get older, for me, has really helped me to say, wow, I felt so guilty for so long. And it has its fallbacks from my mommy guilt. I ended up enabling my adult child for a very long time, which inhibited her growth. And that's something we can talk about more later. But so just know that the experiences that you're having that you have guilt from are not always a bad thing for your child. Sometimes they're a really good thing that they don't have to experience it, but they can learn it through your experience. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a question that says, how do I get over the feeling of guilt for not doing what I think needs to be done? What do I need to say to myself to reassure myself? I think that's a great question. I think some of us have already started to kind of talk about that, as like, we feel it, we acknowledge the feeling. But then we also say we have to implement something for us to motivate ourselves to actually get the thing done if it needs to be done, or we need to let it go and say that doesn't actually need to be done. Right. So really a lot of that guilt is just that in between of, do I need to do this? Do I not need to do this? Or am I going to feel bad about it? I know personally for me is I started looking at things and going, somebody said it initially, is that we put it on ourselves. Nobody else is judging. That guilt is an internal thing. It is not really an external until it becomes public, right? It's something in the public realm. So most of what we're feeling is very internal, and we think because there's a norm. Sabrina, I don't mean to correct you, but you used the word earlier. It's like, I don't know if that's the normal thing, because you talked about kids sleeping with their parents. There is no effing normal, you guys. That doesn't exist. There's no right way, wrong way to do these things. It's just a way, and it's your way. And so you determine whether you're feeling something or not. So you can say, I don't need to feel guilty about this. Either I need to get it done or I don't need to get it done. I'm not going to attach a feeling to it. And that takes practice, right? That takes intentional practice. And so I think those are some of the things you need to say to yourself to reassure. But anybody else want to help answer Lucy's question? Tori.
So I don't know, Lucy, or any of you, if you're familiar with Alan Watts. Excuse me, frog in my throat. But if not, look him up on YouTube, because his stuff is absolutely amazing. But there's this one video that I always think about when I'm experiencing guilt over everything, that where he talks about viewing yourself like a cloud or like a wave. And he makes the point, like, have you ever seen a misshapen cloud or a poorly designed wave? And then he's just like, whatever choices you make, whatever mistakes you make, you're always going to get another shot. And it's like, and he always says it's all going to come out in the wash. And it's like, I look over my life, even things that, I majorly regret, and it's all come out. Like, it's all something new that came from that I wouldn't have experienced if I hadn't gone through that. And so it's like, just knowing that, like, you always get another chance, and right now is your chance. And so, apologize to your kid if you need to, or, you know, make changes for yourself going forward or something like that. But like, you're that cloud, like you're always going to be different, and just that's okay. Like, we're human. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucy, you're always going to be doing good enough. If you're taking care of them and you're participating in their life and you're doing the best that you can in the moments you have, you're doing enough. You're doing enough as a mother. You really, really are. So please, please, please be encouraged in that. But talk about those feelings. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to sit back and go, wow, I was just a really shitty person to my human being. Like, and acknowledging that, apologizing, moving forward. And then also remember, I did a survey this past week because it's come up in some of the conversations that I've been having with women lately. In reality, how much of your childhood do you remember? I mean, I understand some of us went through trauma and we do remember those things, but the day-to-day things of childhood and your relationship with your mother and what she did or did not do, I challenge you to say you don't effing remember. And guess what? Neither will your children, because in this grand scheme of life, all these little moments that we're tripping up on, that we're giving us ourselves on, are such a mustard seed in the umpteenth years. I've been alive for 45 years. Maureen, who said they were 55? So, right, Rachel, thank you. We have, all of these are so tiny, 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 tiny little moments. They are never going to remember it. It does not stand out. So let it go. Let it go. Move forward. Rachel, yes.
I'm sorry, guys. My internet keeps going in and out, and I have to keep reloading. It's raining in Florida. I absolutely love this conversation because as a mindset coach and a spiritual coach, we take on everything that's not real. It's all created up here. None of it's real. We've decided that we want to focus on it. And if we can take it down to the bare bones, just like you were saying, Erica, of what is my child, what do I want him to remember about me? And my answer is always compassion, love, and joy, and truth. Compassion, love, joy, truth. And when I lose my shit, I let him know. For instance, the other day, he went online because we were going to order sushi, this big thing that we do once in a while. And he orders $71 worth of sushi, and I have to pay like this $100 bill for the tip because it's COVID and blah, blah, blah. And I lost my shit. Like, and I don't lose my shit. I'm a yogi, so my shit is like getting silent. I go silent. So he knows if I'm not talking, I've lost my shit. And he didn't know if he should eat it or just look at it or what he should do with this meal. And I just started crying. And I said, Boaz, I want you to enjoy your sushi. His name is Boaz. I said, this has absolutely nothing to do with you. To you, $71 is $71. And I love you beyond. And I started crying. And I said, do you know why I'm crying? And he said, no. I said, because it's so important to feel the feels. And I'm not exactly sure why I feel sad. And I mentioned to you guys everything that's going on. And I too have an ex-husband that I deal with. And it was all coming down that night, and I felt vulnerable, and I just cried and cried. And his remedy was, do you want a piece of my sushi? And we cried and we got over it, and he ate his sushi. And I don't apologize a lot because I don't want him to think it's